Hello, everyone. This is Annie Baudouin. I am an RCIC 533869 from Baudouin Immigration, and welcome to another edition video of El Pen Academy. This is an important topic. It'll be quick, but hopefully valuable tips and guidance on how to fill out the family form for the application for visitor's visa, but it's also used for work permits and study permit most of the time. So this is the form. It's the 5707. It used to be more comprehensive and would include brothers and sisters. And as a retired immigration officer, I can tell you that officers look at this not in all cases, when there are some triage or red flags regarding potential family members that have entered under irregular means. So it is important that you declare everything and that you ensure that your clients give you the correct information. The IRCC rule says that this form needs to be completed by each person who's 18 years of age or older, or a minor that's less than 18 years of age if they're traveling alone. I think that in general, in most cases, it is always best to include more. So I included for my minors, even if they're accompanying a parent, and if they're not traveling alone, but IRCC does not mandate it, so it is up to you. So, in addition to that, and this is again just a humble opinion and tip. If there are other family members that are in Canada, like brothers and sisters, they have a valid status, then you could include it in your submission as part of the information in your legal letter. But at the minimum, you definitely need to fill out this form. So always put the full family name of the applicant and the given name and the name in the native language if applicable. Sometimes you don't have it, and usually officers won't fault you for that. But if you have it, the golden rule is always to declare, declare, declare. So as much as possible. Ensure you have the date of birth that meets the passport and the birth certificate, the country where the person was born, as seen on the passport. The marital status is very important, and there are several. So common law, single, divorce, annulled marriage, you should put that, married, legally separated, widowed, conjugal partner, unknown. So some of these, your client may not be prompted to declare if you don't ask questions, but it is important, especially if the client wants to move forward with a PR application later and things like that, because the immigration officer will, in some cases, go back to previous application and look if the declarations are always in line. And then you should put the present occupation. Let's say he is a carpenter, that's what you should put. Then if we're talking about the common law partner, so the question always is, if the common law partner is in Canada already, should I say yes, the person's accompanying, or should I say no? So I would always say no, because they're not accompanying. When the officer is asking about accompanying, are they traveling with you to Canada? But you should make it very clear that the person is in Canada. And then in your submission letter, you can also add some details and say, we declare that the common law partner will not be accompanying, but they already are in Canada, and that's the person they're visiting, if that's applicable. Same thing here, you're going to want to put the spouse or the common law or the conjugal partner's information as appearing on the passport. Full family name, full given name, native language if it applies, date of birth, country of birth, present address, put as much information as possible, the marital status, and the present occupation. Let's say they're a nurse, put nurse. If they're in Canada, make sure you show that they're in Canada. Then we're going to talk about the mother and the father. So this is, will the person accompany you in Canada? Same thing. If they're already in Canada, you should, in my humble opinion, put no, because they are in Canada, and this present address field will capture it. If they're traveling with the person, then you should put yes, the person will accompany me to Canada. Let's say it's a family of four and the mother and father are also going to see Toronto, then you should put yes. Same thing, family name, given name, date of birth, country of birth, present address. Let's say they're from Pakistan. You should put as much information as you have. In some countries like Cameroon, you don't have much information about the address, but you should still prompt your client to give you as much information as possible. What is the red house under the um, let's say the red staircase, that's sufficient, but you should still put as much as you can about the address and of course the country. The marital status, ensure that you ask the right question to your clients so you can capture as much information as possible, and then ensure that you put the present occupation. If they're a homemaker, put a homemaker. If they're currently not working, not working. If they're a student, you could even put a student, even though an occupation refers to employment. I think the same rule as declaring as much as possible is important. So they're a student. They're an international student because you've put that they are in Dubai, even though they're citizens, let's say, of Pakistan. So try to incorporate as much as possible. Then this will be the father. Put the family name, given name, same as the passport. And then we're moving on. Always save the form. And then you should have the client sign unless you're applying online. Usually officers don't require a wet signature because the online application, of course, captured the declaration. Then if we talk about children, so this is extremely important. Do not ask your client to declare only their biological children. Ensure that you explain to them that they have an obligation to declare adopted children, stepchildren, regardless of the age or place of residence. I don't want to declare my son because he lives in another country or I'm fighting with him or things like that. That's not relevant. You have to declare every single biological, adopted, and stepchildren that your client has. Do not have children, that'll be easy. Will they be accompanying you to Canada? No. Okay, I have one adopted kid and I also have one biological kid. Then you should say that here and really define that. It's my son. Put the name, given name, date of birth, country of birth. And then the other one is my adopted daughter. So ensure that you put this. Okay, so I am in the process of maybe divorcing. Should I still declare my stepchildren? Yes, at the time when you're signing, the stepchildren should still be declared. If that changes later, then of course there'll be appropriate modification to be put in. But these are extremely important because they will ensure that your client will not be found at fault from failing to declare dependents that meet the definition of the dependent and that may need to be examined later on if there are permanent residents. So I think the rule here is to explain to your client that it is in their best interest to declare as much information as possible. And again, they're not asking children over the age of 18 or single children. They're asking all. So if your client have 55-year-old children, then you should put them there. All children, whether biological, adopted, or stepchildren, are required to be declared on this application. Of course, there are some cases where the applicant does not have much information. We haven't seen this person, I don't know the date of birth, or when they were born in the middle of the countryside, we're not sure. So then you can always put asterisks instead of the, let's say you know the birth date, a birth year, but not the month and date, then you can try to put a, let's say 2000, usually I'll put asterisks, and if it doesn't take it, you can put 0101, and then in your submission letter, you should tell the officer that you've put this date in order to be able to save and populate and validate this form, the 5707, but unfortunately the date that you've put in is uncertain because provide the explanation why the person doesn't know the father's marital status or the father's date of birth. Often they know their dad's father's name, but they don't know their date of birth because they've never had any contact. So you just need to explain it in the letter. But in the meantime, if you're not able to save this form, just populate it with usually asterisk or 0101 or some kind of a letter, just so you're able to validate. And in your submission letter, you're going to add all the details that going to bring the attention of the officer to what you inputted in that form that may not have been 100% accurate in order to be able to save it. And I think that concludes the family form tutorial for today. I hope I was able to give you some valuable advice, especially when you encounter some unforeseen or specific circumstances where the applicant and your client doesn't have all the information that is required. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you want to continue learning, be sure to explore the full range of resources available to immigration and legal practitioners through the Alpin Academy and Alpin's CPD courses. Visit alpin.ca/academy to access the entire library of practical, on-demand content.